Ladies and gentlemen, life is not won by the strongest, the fastest, or even the most talented. It is won by those who believe in themselves when everyone else doubts them. Doubt is not your friend. It is the thief of dreams, the killer of progress, the silent voice that convinces you to stop before you even begin. Every person who ever achieved greatness had to face doubt. They were told, "You can't do it. It's impossible. You're not good enough." But instead of listening, we moved doubt from their minds and replaced it with certainty, courage, and relentless action. When you remove doubt, you unlock the power of belief, and belief creates vision, vision creates action. Action creates results, and results bring victory. Remember this, you are far more capable than you think. The world has enough doubters. Be the believer. Because when you remove doubt, you don't just change your chances, you change your destiny. Doubt is not just a passing thought. It is the very root of failure. Before anyone gives up, before anyone quits, before anyone loses hope, it always begins with doubt. Think about it. Failure does not start the day you fall. It starts the moment you say to yourself, "Maybe I can't do this." That tiny voice of hesitation plants itself in your mind like a seed. At first, it seems harmless, but slowly grows roots. It begins to spread into your actions, your decisions, and eventually your destiny. When doubt enters, confidence exits. Whispers. What if you're not good enough? What if you fail? What if they laugh at you? And the sad truth is that most people listen to this voice and stop before they ever begin. Opportunities are lost, dreams are buried, and potential is wasted. Not because people lacked talent, but because they allowed doubt to take control. History shows us that every great achievement was once surrounded by doubt. When Thomas Edison tried to create the light bulb, he was told it was impossible. When the Wright brothers built the first airplane, people laughed at them. When Nelson Mandela fought for freedom, many doubted he would succeed. But what if these men had believed their doubts? The world would have remained in darkness, would still be a fantasy, and freedom might have remained a dream. Doubt is powerful, but only if you feed it. The more you entertain it, the stronger it becomes. The moment you question your worth, your dream, your goal, that is the exact moment doubt takes root. But here's the truth, doubt cannot survive in the presence of action and belief. The only reason doubt wins is because you allow it to. You must learn to recognize doubt early, catch it when it first whispers, "You can't." Don't let it grow into, "You won't." And never let it turn into, "You failed." If you do not remove doubt, it will remove your chances. Remember this, success doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be committed. Doubt will trick you into thinking you must have everything figured out before you start. That is a lie. The truth is, only need courage to begin, faith to continue, and persistence to finish. So the next time doubt enters your mind, remind yourself, this is not my truth. This is just fear in disguise. Choose belief instead. Choose courage instead. Because the moment you kill doubt, you kill failure before it even has the chance to exist. Doubt is the seed of failure, but belief is the seed of greatness. Plant the right seed, and you will reap victory. Belief is not just an emotion. It is the foundation of every great achievement in human history. Confidence is not born from luck, money, or even talent. It is born from the deep conviction that I can. When you believe in yourself, something extraordinary happens. Your entire energy shifts, your posture changes, your tone becomes stronger, and your actions become decisive. Belief transforms ordinary people into extraordinary leaders, achievers, and winners. Think about it. Before anyone else believes in you, before the world notices your strength, before the results are visible, you must first believe in yourself. Without belief, even the greatest talents remain hidden. A person can have unlimited potential, but if they carry doubt in their heart, they will never use it fully. On the other hand, someone with average skills but unshakable belief will go further, climb higher, and win bigger than anyone who constantly doubts themselves. Belief creates confidence, and confidence creates courage. When you believe, you no longer wait for perfect circumstances. You stop hesitating, you take risks, you put yourself out there even when you are not ready. Why? Because belief convinces you that readiness is not a requirement. Commitment is. Belief tells you, even if I fall, I will rise. Even if I fail, I will learn. Even if I lose today, I will win tomorrow. That mindset makes you unstoppable. Look at the lives of great champions. Muhammad Ali, long before he was crowned the greatest boxer of all time, declared boldly, "I am the greatest." At that time, many doubted him. His belief in himself was so powerful that it carried him through every challenge. His words became reality because his belief created confidence, and his confidence fueled his actions. The same is true in your life. People will not always cheer for you. In fact, many will doubt you, criticize you, or underestimate you. But belief gives you the armor to keep moving forward regardless of what others say. Belief gives you the courage to walk alone, the strength to face rejection, and the determination to try again when others quit. Confidence is not arrogance. It is certainty. It is the quiet, unshakable knowing that you are capable, worthy, and prepared to fight for your dream. And that certainty only comes from belief. Without belief, you will shrink in the face of challenges. With belief, you will rise above them. Belief is like a fire inside you. At first, it starts small, but the more you feed it, with positive thoughts, consistent action, and determination, the stronger it grows. Eventually, it becomes a blazing fire that no storm can extinguish. Fire is what makes people unstoppable. So if you want to win everything, you must first master belief. Believe when no one else does. Believe when circumstances look impossible. Believe when failure seems close. Because belief is not just a thought, it is the weapon that builds unstoppable confidence, the shield that protects you from doubt, and the engine that drives you toward victory. Never forget this truth. The world does not give power to the doubters. It bows to the believers. It's like a shadow. It only grows larger the longer you stand still. The more you hesitate, the more fear takes root. The more you delay, the louder the voice of insecurity becomes. But here's the secret: the fastest, most effective, and most permanent way to kill doubt is through action. Action is the antidote. Action is the destroyer of hesitation. Action is the proof that you are capable, worthy, and ready. Think about how doubt works. It thrives in the mind. It feeds on overthinking, on what-ifs, on endless scenarios of failure. You sit, you analyze, you plan, you imagine all the bad things that might happen. And the longer you stay in this state, the stronger doubt becomes. That's why so many people never start. They wait until they feel ready, but readiness never comes. Doubt will always whisper, "Not yet, not today, maybe tomorrow." But the moment you take action, everything changes. Action creates momentum, and momentum silences doubt. Even the smallest step forward begins to weaken that inner voice that says, "You can't." Because when you act, you prove it wrong. You show yourself that progress is possible, that growth is happening, and that movement is better than perfection. Take an example. Imagine someone standing at the edge of a swimming pool, afraid to jump in. The longer they stand there, the scarier it becomes. Their heart races, mind invents excuses, their fear grows. But the moment they leap into the water, all of that doubt vanishes instantly. Why? Because action replaces fear with experience. It transforms imagination into reality. And in reality, things are rarely as terrifying as our doubts made them seem. Action is not about being fearless. It is about moving forward despite fear. Every successful person you admire didn't start with confidence. They started with small, shaky steps. Those steps destroyed their doubts one by one until they became unstoppable. Think about learning a skill, starting a business, or chasing a dream. Doubt will scream, "You're not ready. You don't know enough. You might fail." But the only way to become ready is to begin. The only way to learn is to practice. The only way to win is to play the game. Action teaches you more in a single day than doubt ever could in a lifetime of overthinking. Action also builds evidence. Your brain cannot argue with results. When you take action and achieve even a small win, it becomes proof that you are capable. Proof destroys doubt at its core. With every action you take, you gather more evidence of your ability. And soon, your belief becomes stronger than your fear. Here's the truth: hesitation will always strengthen doubt, but action will always weaken it. That is why the winners of life are not the ones who had no fear. They are the ones who acted in spite of it. So the next time doubt begins to creep into your mind, don't sit with it, don't debate with it, don't give it time to grow. Move. Act. Do something. No matter how small. That takes you closer to your goal. Because when you act, you replace doubt with certainty, fear with confidence, and hesitation with progress. Never forget this: doubt cannot survive where action lives. The cure to doubt is movement. Destroyer of fear is forward motion. So act boldly, act consistently, act relentlessly, and watch how doubt dies and victory comes alive. Running through the park, most people fear failure more than anything else. They see it as the end, as proof that they are not good enough, as a permanent stain on their journey. But this mindset is the greatest mistake anyone can make. Failure is not defeat. Failure is feedback. It is information. It is life's way of saying, "Not this path. Try another." Those who fear failure stop before they ever succeed. Those who embrace it use it as a stepping stone toward greatness. Think about how a child learns to walk. A baby does not stand up and run on the first attempt. They fall again and again. But every fall teaches them balance, coordination, and strength. If they feared failure, they would never walk. Instead, they instinctively understand that every fall is part of the process. This same truth applies to you. No matter what age you are, no matter what dream you chase, every failure is simply teaching you how to stand taller and move stronger. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to success. Look at the stories of the greatest achievers in history. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked how he kept going, he replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What an extraordinary mindset! Edison saw failure as feedback, not as defeat. And because of that, he gave light to the entire world. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers before her book was finally accepted. If she had seen failure as defeat, millions of people would never have been inspired by her stories. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes of all time, openly admitted, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Do you see the pattern? The difference between winners and quitters is not talent. It is perspective. Quitters see failure as the end. Winners see failure as the beginning of growth. Failure gives you feedback. It tells you what doesn't work. It exposes weaknesses you need to strengthen. It reveals blind spots you need to fix. It sharpens your skills, toughens your spirit, prepares you for the bigger challenges ahead. Without failure, success would have no meaning. Without failure, you would never truly appreciate victory. The truth is this: every time you fail, you are one step closer to winning. The more you fail, the more experience you gain, and the stronger your foundation becomes. But doubt tricks people into believing that failure equals defeat, so they quit before they get to the other side. Imagine planting a seed and expecting a tree overnight. If it doesn't sprout instantly, do you call it a failure? No, you water it, nurture it, and give it time. Success works the same way. Failures are not proof that the seed is dead. They are reminders that growth takes patience. So the next time you fall short, don't say, I failed. Instead, say, I learned. Don't see it as defeat, see it as redirection. Every rejection is guiding you toward a better opportunity. Every closed door is leading you toward the right one. Every mistake is shaping you into the person strong enough to hold the success you desire. Always remember, failure is not the enemy of success. It is the teacher of success. Those who run from failure run from growth. But those who embrace it rise higher than they ever imagined. Don't fear failure. Fear not trying. Fear not learning. Fear living a life where you gave up because you misunderstood what failure really meant. Because failure is not defeat. It is simply feedback. And feedback, when used wisely, guarantees victory. People you spend time with shape the person you become. Their voices become your inner voice. Their energy becomes your atmosphere. And their beliefs begin to rub off on your own thinking. This is why surrounding yourself with believers, people who lift you up, who remind you of your strength, who encourage you to keep going, is one of the most powerful choices you can ever make in life. Doubt thrives in environments filled with negativity. If you are surrounded by people who constantly criticize, complain, or tell you why something cannot be done, then doubt multiplies inside you. Their disbelief becomes contagious, and without realizing it, you begin to adopt their mindset. You start to hesitate, second-guess yourself, and eventually lower your vision to match theirs. But when you surround yourself with believers, everything changes. Believers are those who see possibilities where others see problems. They are the ones who say, yes, you can, when the world tells you, no, you can't. They are the ones who remind you of your potential when you forget it yourself. They push you forward, not backward. They fuel your courage instead of feeding your fears. Think of every great leader, athlete, or innovator in history. All had people who believed in them. Even the strongest person needs encouragement. Muhammad Ali had trainers who constantly reminded him he was the best. Jobs had a team who shared his vision when the world thought he was crazy. Martin Luther King Jr. had followers who believed so deeply in his dream that they marched with him even when it was dangerous. Here's the truth: no one wins alone. You may carry the dream, but the people around you, your spirit, when it gets heavy. If you walk with doubters, they will drag you down. If you walk with believers, they will lift you higher than you could climb on your own. Believers don't always agree with you, but they challenge you with love. They remind you not to settle. They inspire you to keep fighting when you want to quit. They see in you the greatness you sometimes cannot see in yourself. That is why their presence is priceless. But you must also remember, surrounding yourself with believers doesn't just mean finding the right people. It also means removing the wrong ones. You cannot soar like an eagle if you keep walking with chickens. If people around you constantly bring doubt, negativity, and fear, you must protect your mind and distance yourself. This is not selfish. It is necessary. Your dream deserves an environment of belief, not poison. And here's something even more powerful. You must also become a believer for others. The same way you need encouragement, others do too. Be the person who says, I believe in you. I know you can do it. I see your potential. When you lift others, you create a cycle of belief that returns to you multiplied. So, choose wisely who you walk with. Surround yourself with people who make you feel braver, stronger, and more determined. Build a circle of faith, not fear. Because the truth is simple. When you walk with believers, doubt dies and dreams come alive. Before you can win in reality, you must first win in your mind. The mind is the birthplace of all victories and all defeats. If you see yourself as weak, unworthy, or incapable in your imagination, then no matter how much potential you have, your actions will follow that picture. But if you train your mind to see victory, to feel success, and to believe in possibility, then certainty takes root, and doubt is destroyed before it can even grow. Visualization is not just a motivational idea, it is a powerful mental weapon. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself succeeding, your brain begins to create neural patterns as if the success is already happening. Science proves that the brain does not fully distinguish between real experience and vividly imagined experience. That means that when you visualize yourself speaking with confidence, running faster, achieving your goals, or winning in life, your mind begins to accept it as truth. And when your mind accepts it, your body and actions follow. This is why great athletes, leaders, and performers all use visualization. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympic swimmer of all time, mentally rehearsed every race thousands of times before he ever stepped into the pool. He imagined the dive, the strokes, the turns, even the feeling of the water on his skin. By the time he raced, he wasn't guessing what victory looked like. He had already lived it in his mind. Certainty made him unstoppable. Visualization creates certainty because it eliminates the unknown, thrives on uncertainty. It feeds on the fear of not knowing what will happen. But when you visualize, you remove that fear. You have already seen yourself succeed, so your mind and heart are aligned with belief. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" you begin to ask, "What if I win?" Think of it like building a roadmap. If you were traveling to a new place, you might feel anxious without directions. If you already had a clear map, your journey would feel much easier. Visualization is that mental map. It shows your brain the destination so your actions can confidently follow the path. But here is the key. Visualization must be specific and emotional. Don't just imagine the end result, feel it. If your dream is to build a business, see yourself shaking hands with clients, feel the pride of signing contracts, imagine the joy of financial freedom. If your goal is to become healthier, visualize yourself running with strength, smiling with energy, and living with confidence. The more details you add, the more real it becomes. And the more real it feels, the more certain your belief becomes. Visualization alone is not enough. You must pair it with action. But when action meets visualization, certainty is unshakable. You no longer act with hesitation because your mind has already accepted the outcome. This is why people who visualize success often outperform those who don't. They carry a quiet confidence that comes from already seeing themselves win. Remember this truth: the world will doubt you. If your mind sees victory clearly, nothing can stop you. When you visualize, you are building victory twice, once in your mind and once in reality. And when both align, doubt disappears and certainty takes its place. So, practice it daily. Spend a few minutes every morning closing your eyes and seeing the life you want to live. See yourself succeeding, thriving, overcoming obstacles, and walking with confidence. The more you do this, the more your mind programs itself for victory. And when the mind believes with certainty, the body will follow with unstoppable action. Faith is the invisible force that transforms impossible dreams into undeniable reality. It is stronger than logic, deeper than evidence, and more powerful than circumstance. Where doubt whispers, "It can't be done," faith declares, "It's already on its way." Without faith, dreams remain fantasies. With faith, dreams become destiny. Faith is more than belief, it is belief in motion. Belief says, "I think it's possible." Faith says, "I know it will happen." even if I cannot yet see how. Faith gives you the courage to take the first step without seeing the entire staircase. It is trusting the process, even when the path is unclear. It is holding on to the vision, even when everything around you seems to contradict it. Look at the stories of visionaries and leaders who changed history. Martin Luther King Jr. stood before millions declaring, "I have a dream." At that moment, the reality of his world was filled with division and hate. But faith allowed him to see beyond the present into a future where equality could exist. That faith fueled his courage, his speeches, his marches, and it moved a generation closer to justice. Faith is also what drove inventors, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The Wright brothers had faith that humans could fly when the world mocked them. Elon Musk had faith that rockets could land themselves when experts laughed at him. Every advancement in human history began not with proof, with faith. Someone had to believe in the unseen before it became seen. Here's the truth: doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Faith resurrects dreams that doubt tried to bury. Faith says, even if I fail, I am not done. Even if I fall, I will rise. Even if it takes longer than I expected, my vision will not die. That is why faith turns ordinary people into unstoppable warriors. Faith is not passive. It demands action. It does not say, "I'll sit and wait." It says, "I'll move forward." Trusting the way will open. When you act in faith, opportunities appear that you could not have imagined. People show up, doors open, resources arrive, because faith creates momentum, and momentum attracts miracles. But faith also requires patience. Sometimes your dream will not happen overnight. Sometimes the path will test you, delay you, or even break you down. Faith holds you steady through the storm. It tells you, this setback is not the end. It is preparation. Faith sees beyond the pain of the moment and focuses on the promise of the future. And here's something powerful: faith is contagious. When you carry unshakable faith, you inspire others to believe too. Your courage becomes their courage. Your vision becomes their vision. And soon, faith spreads, creating a collective force too strong to be stopped. Hold on to faith. Even when the dream looks distant, even when the road feels endless, even when the world tells you it cannot be done, keep believing. Because faith is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Turns mountains into stepping stones, obstacles into opportunities, and dreams into reality. Never forget this truth. Faith is the fuel of miracles. Faith is the heartbeat of victory. Faith is the power that transforms vision into achievement. When you carry faith, nothing, no doubt, no failure, no obstacle can stop you from winning everything. My friends, life is not about waiting for perfect conditions. It's not about listening to the voice of fear. It's about silencing doubt, embracing belief, taking bold action, learning from failure, walking with believers, seeing victory in your mind, and holding unshakable faith in your heart. Doubt will always try to whisper that you are not enough, but you are more than enough. You are stronger than fear, greater than failure, and more capable than you imagine. Remember this truth: people who win in life are not the ones who never had doubts. They are the ones who refuse to let doubt control them. Replaced hesitation with courage, fear with faith, and weakness with belief. So, from this day forward, choose to live without doubt. Step boldly, dream fearlessly, act relentlessly, and believe unshakably. Because when you remove doubt, you don't just win battles, you win everything. Thank you.